Welcome to the second of a little podcast things that we've decided to do, Cock Single. We have Vasilis Brookes with us today. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Cool, yeah. Hi everyone, I'm Vas. I'm a student here at Oxford.
Semi-retired, bro.
Semi-retired, bro. I was about to say I'm a rower, but semi-retired, maybe fully retired, who knows. I'm doing a PhD here at Oxford. I'm in my third year. I'm studying clinical medicine, essentially analysing the patients coming from the NHS, doing next generation sequencing on them to find out why they're getting disease. Super simple terms.
God, you sound so clever. Yeah, I went to Brookes.
So yeah, great to be here today. We're actually in Vinnie's club, which is it's one of the blues clubs at Oxford. So primarily for sports people. So yeah, it's a good place. Yeah.
So a little bit about your rowing history as well. Where did you learn to row? Yeah,
so I actually went to Abingdon School, and funny story there. I didn't really win much for the first 4 years, and I had a really great group of people my senior year. And
we raced against each other a couple of times.
Did we?
I think the first time I met you was Peterborough Head in 2010, and I completely fucked it.
I remember.
I hit the bank 3 times.
Really?
So I think Abingdon were starting in front of us. We overtook Abingdon 3 times, and I stacked it 3 times.
God damn it!
Wow, that's why you got the nickname Clatter, right?
Oh
that is.
I do remember that. Yeah. I remember you guys had these sweet long sleeves. Do you remember that?
Yeah, we had Kings written down.
Yeah, it's funny, I remember that.
I mean, you saw it 3 times.
We had some good results. One school's Head, second at Nat Schools, and then one Henley in record time, which was great.
No longer a record time now.
No longer record time. St Paul's did a pretty good job of that.
Rowing's come on a bit since you were at school.
Yeah, it was easy back then. But yeah, it was really great, and it kind of set up my rowing career. And I went to Boston University. A lot of rowers now from school actually go over to America, as it's quite a appealing option in terms of education and also getting funding in terms of scholarships. I wanted to push my rowing on. I did find that the 4 years was great.
You thought you'd do that at Boston?
I thought I'd do that at Boston. Didn't really happen. I kind of, I was in and out of the 2V. I love the guys there. The guys were great, and you know, the social scene was fantastic. But you know, my rowing didn't really push on too much. I left there having a lot of motivation for wanting to push it on a bit more, and I was really fortunate to get an offer from Oxford to go do a master's. And I came to Oxford with a completely new feeling of wanting to start fresh and really push myself. And did the season, went quite well.
What year did you come to Oxford?
I came in 2017, so I did the 2017 boat race. I also did the 2018 boat race. 2 very different years, different outcomes. And now I've just transferred onto a PhD, so I've taken some time out to focus on other things in life.
Is there anything else?
Apparently exists.
Much else. Yeah. What was the few months leading up to the 2017 race?
So a lot of people don't actually know this, but I actually thought I was going to get cut in October. So I've actually told many people this, but I talked to Andy Nelder, who at the time was the assistant coach, and he's now the women's coach. And we're doing pieces at Caversham, and it wasn't really my day. And I went up to him afterwards, really upset, and I was like, please just don't cut me. And he said, I'm not going to cut you. And he gave me a chance. I was in the 4th floor. So
gave you a chance.
At this point I was like, hopefully make ISIS. But for some reason that whole year I knew I was going to make the blue boat. And no one really believed in me. But I believed in myself. And I was able to just keep pushing myself. And that's one bit of advice that I've learned. One thing that I've learned and I'll advise to a lot of rowers is just have this unrelenting belief that you can achieve whatever you put your mind to. And when no one else backs yourself, you have to back yourself. And I just had that motivation. Every single day I pushed myself. I was doing the right training and I felt really good, and did very well in all the 8s racing. internally, and I made it into that stroke seat position. There's some really big characters, Josh Bogowski, Olivia Siegler, Mike DeSanto, and these guys a lot of them had come from World Championship experiences. Ollie Cook had won gold in the Cox Pair, and Siegler just got bronze at the Olympics. And we had such a diverse group of individuals coming in. I think that's one thing that probably is very different to a lot of other programs. In America you have 4 years to kind of get going, but for here you get usually, in Oxford you get and Cambridge you usually get like a fresh group of guys every year. And the challenge is to bring it as together as a team in the space of like 6 months. And we were really lucky, we got the right crew from the get-go, and we all came together, and it was really good fun. And you always get challenges throughout the season, but one thing I remember is it was just so fast over 2K, and we never really tested it over 2K, and I wish we had, but it was just phenomenally fast over 2K. And
I remember when we raced you guys in the fixture, and we were backing ourselves. I think we were doing alright at the time. And then we never really got beaten off the start for a good few years, and you boys took like lengths out of us at the start. We should have beaten you if Kobe's hadn't fallen off his seat on the second one.
We should put some video of that in this.
We'll find some
that was actually such a biblical
it was.
Yeah.
That was quite a funny race, because there was a bit of like steering as well.
We remember that.
We went on your station and started clawing back.
Move over, Harry! I was like, okay, fine.
Horr was coming in everywhere, and obviously Oxford have got these they're cheating, so they got pumps, and it was just, I could see when we finished the first piece, water was just pissing out the side of their boat. I was looking down, and my feet were covered.
I absolutely love the pumps, because it just pissed you off so much.
Put the pumps on.
Henry gave me a sponge, and I was just sponging.
We finished the first piece, and we these shitty sponges squeezing water out. I had a fucking milk carton out. And James is there hand on the ring behind her. Yeah, that's it. Get those fucking pumps on.
I was just like, oh, for fuck's sake. I don't know about you, but I was completely blown up for the first piece.
Yeah, it was hard.
I was so fucked. I was just like, God damn it.
We got to do this again.
I think it was the fact that it was already quite a tough race, and then we went into that really shit water.
Yeah.
And that just we were just trying to stay afloat at that point.
You guys did so well.
I remember what pissed me off about that after the first piece, Gibbsy, Rory Gibbs, doing great in the moment. But after we finished the first piece, I was pretty fucked. Massive headwind, terrible water. At the end, he's just like, James, mate, I think you can keep the rate a bit higher. Gibbsy, you try and sit in the stroke seat, mate. It's a fucking shit show.
The race itself was extremely tough.
It looked pretty long.
It was a long one. I think Cambridge did remarkably well, and big respect to them. You got guys in there, Lance Treadle, straight to GB8 that summer. Pat Ebel was in the 8. Henry Meek, one of my good mates. He was in the stroke seat and did a phenomenal job. Just kept pushing. And they stuck with us and made our life extremely hard. So I this year watching was a very similar race, but reverse. So I knew exactly how Cambridge felt, and I knew exactly how Oxford felt. Well, obviously a loss still hurts you, but I think they did remarkably well, and big respect to them.
I didn't bet on the race, because I thought Cambridge would go out very hard, and I thought they'd have a lead. I thought they might get clear, and I thought Oxford would row them down a bit.
I agree. After we raced Oxford, I don't know, we didn't sort of pat ourselves on the back and think, oh yeah, we're insane. God, we're that much faster than Oxford. Felix Drinkle was on the boat. He's obviously really talented horseman. There was just a lot of factors that just felt really weird about the race. Obviously, we had a good race just purely about ourselves, but so then when we raced Cambridge, we just I think we just thought that there was something fishy going on there, and I think I always thought that it was going to be a case of Cambridge will try to break. If they do, they will probably win. If they don't, I think we're on for a pretty good race.
Yeah, but interesting to see if the stations were swapped over and Oxford had the Surrey bend.
Yeah.
That's a good point. They would have.
The fixtures sort of, obviously they're pretty, I assume they're pretty good practice for you guys.
They're pretty good, yeah.
I think not too bad.
Well, it depends who you're racing.
Yeah, so we had a series of weekends on the Tideway, which it's a different beast, the tideway. It's quite bouncy. The stream feels really weird. It's quite windy in different places. Obviously, like the steering as well is a challenge. So I think, we set ourselves up for Head of the River really well. I think like we knew all the markers. We felt a little bit more confident on the river, and I think like stuff like that does really help. Because when you're on the tideway, it feels so massive.
Yeah.
Like you sit on the bank and it's like, oh, it's not that far to the other side. But like when you're actually sitting on it rowing, it's like it just seems so vast, and you can get lost in it so easily. So I think like, having racing experience on it leading up to Head of the River was really good for us.
How was the race? Was it like a good race for you guys, or?
I think we raced it pretty well. I'd say we maybe like went out a bit harder than we maybe would have liked, but I think that was just because from the year before we noticed that Leander came up onto us quite a lot in the opening 5 minutes of the race, and then we sort of started to pull away, and then the margin sort of stayed the same. Obviously it ended up being a dead heat, but we were quite conscious of trying not to let that happen, so I think we maybe went out a little bit harder, but from the splits it sort of turned out that it was just like an even distribution of distance over the whole thing.
The result, shows you guys must have had a decent race, right?
It was a good race. I don't think there was really much else we could have got out of that. It was pretty good result. The second 8 were 0.1 off that Leander 8. That was probably
How far were the Leander second 8 off the second 8? Off the Brookes second 8?
I think it was I can't remember.
Probably
we'll be able to
15 seconds maybe.
No, it was close to that. It was
5, 6.
Yeah, it was
oh really?
Yeah,
go on.
Trials last weekend, obviously pretty big performance. Budkin came away with the win.
Bajewskis.
But it does seem like there was a lot of funky results. A lot of.
Or maybe they weren't funky. Maybe.
Well, that's the thing. I think
guys.
on paper it looks like there's funky results, but I think it'll be interesting to see who ends up in boats for the World Cup and what ends up being a World Championships. I think there's going to be a bit of shifting around, I reckon.
You reckon?
Yeah, maybe. Who knows? There's.
We don't see them.
It's pretty much just all speculation at the end of the day, but
that's what we got to do. That's what we're here for.
That is what we're here for.
Yeah,
just
speculating.
So good at chatting. Yes. Oh my goodness, my favourite thing to do.
Rory Gibbs is going to stroke the 8.
Rory Gibbs is going to stroke it on bow side. He's going to be too stupid to blow. He doesn't understand the nature of blowing, so he'll be great for the stroke team. To be fair, actually, no, we had Gibbs in a stroke suit for Wallingford Head once, and it was fucking terrible. It was honestly I've just been gassing about how good Brookes 8s are, and you can interchange people, and it doesn't really get that slow. This was categorically the worst thing I've been in, and it had Rory Gibbs.
That is hilarious.
Oh dear.
Yeah, he's a strong boy, isn't he?
He's fucking good.
They did really well at trials. I thought their sprint finish was.
Yeah.
I was really happy to see George and Harry.
They crushed it, and they have been crushing it for a long time.
Yeah, but they're so consistent, and I really hope they get a shot.
Yeah,
fair smashing it the whole year.
They've been doing really well.
There's
I think from a completely outside perspective, I think
it's so competitive.
It could be a really good thing.
Yeah. So also we got a question on our Q&A that we may as well answer now about the trials being an open spectacle.
Yeah. See, Daniel Spring has been.
Yeah, it was actually Hamish Root sent us a message on the Q&A thing. He was saying, "What's your opinions, or what are our opinions on open trials? As in, people can go and watch. I don't know if they'd be able to do it at Caversham. It's quite a small venue. I don't know if it could hold.
Yeah.
I don't even know how many people
I have
want to go
actually
and
been
watch.
thinking about this, and I think to an extent, I think it's good to have it. I think having
closed.
some video footage would be good.
A live stream.
You can watch the US trials, and they haven't done it this year. I don't think there was.
I think they do. I think for the Olympic trials they do.
Yeah. But there's a degree of openness about that set of trials.
Kiwi trials
as well.
Australian trials. I think it's.
And I think that would be good, but at the same time,
You don't want everyone to know.
The thing is, the people that have been invited there have like earned their way in, and I don't think it like the GB rowing team owe the public like, you know, that group of people have worked their way in through the year, and like people would understand that from seeing results at like the early trials and stuff like that. And I think, you know, the results get released. I think there has to be like a degree of, okay, well, we've been met halfway here. Like, I don't think the Caversham doors should just fly open.
No, yeah, that's a good point.
But what's going to happen when you watch the video? Like, oh, they're rowing really well, that's why they won. Like, what do you get from them?
True.
You know, not showing the video. Like, okay, the times are out there. You know how fast they're going. Like, what's the difference? Like, you just watch the racing. Like,
yeah,
I don't know. I don't really know what are they hiding. Like, you know what I mean? Like.
Got some crackers from Sean Dixon, so I'm just looking
yeah.
through these.
Oh, fuck.
No, I want to ask these. This is right.
And when did you last have a kebab?
Last probably like 2 weeks ago. Yeah.
2 weeks ago. Okay, that's actually.
What did you get in your
kebab?
kebab?
Spicy hot mayo.
Really?
Yeah. No, I don't actually eat that many kebabs. I guess people assume that I do because I'm Greek.
Yeah.
Matt Aldridge wants to know, what is your perfect Sunday?
Perfect Sunday. Goodness me. Now or when I was rowing?
No.
To be honest, I don't really care. Thoughts on J for B?
Oh yeah, we need to talk about this. Yeah.
When we started like dropping that hashtag, you were a keen advocate of J for B. But
do you want to talk about Bug a little bit? We can dispel a few myths.
Yeah, let's do that.
Let's set this. So this is 2018, 2017,
2018.
Sorry.
He, I think most people know, he got removed from the crew about a week before the race, the Saturday before. So some people think that he got kicked out because he went to the Brookes dinner. So that's not true.
Also not. That's tough.
So I think he got told beforehand, and then then obviously went out and got pissed up, as one does. I think there's not really much more I need to add to everything that's out there already. He got very ill. He was actually really, really ill in the few days beforehand, and I think Sean had to make someone had to make a judgment call to be put in, and a decision was made, and we went with it. We didn't really. We couldn't think about it too much. When you're in the zone and you have to focus on a race, you don't really question it too much. So
I guess you just sort of got to get on with it.
Just get on with it. Yeah, exactly. So.
There's one from Matt Nartif. He says, "How easy did Vas find the Red Bull X-Row?"
Oh my goodness!
I've heard stories from
Oh,
he said that he was in an absolute hole.
Yeah.
Okay, so the rowing was.
So just explain what the Red Bull X-Row is.
Yeah, so the Red Bull X-Row is like a challenge in Switzerland, and we got this kind of rogue motley crew together, full of Brookes boys. We had some Kiwi Olympian,
all the lads and
some
Tim
Germans,
Clark.
And also me and Tim Clark. Yeah, so Tim Clark was fantastic. Really drove it on. We actually had Simon Needham, like the Swiss lightweight rower from.
He won the Olympics or something.
He was incredible. It's like a hour race on the water, and then like an hour run with the boat, and I think it's like a little bit more than that. I think it takes like 2.5 hours or something. I don't really remember. But the running with the boat was so hard. Like, after a race when you carry the boat to the shoulders, like killing you. Imagine doing that running for like half an hour.
Yeah.
It's so
I can
much
tell
fun.
you who would be the worst at the Red Bull X-Row. Henry Saltbrick.
Never
Does not carry the boat.
No, he's terrible.
Blades up, never down.
Blades up, never down.
That's hilarious. There was this one stage where I think Gareth was on the pavement.
He was going to stop. He was literally going to stop. Matt had to be like, Matt had to grab
Get
him.
off the fucking pavement! That's like the best story. Yeah. We're actually racing for Wiffa Yannick, which is a club trying to raise awareness of mental health in sport, and a really great cause. So that was cool to do.
I think they've been doing a really good job actually of like spreading that through rowing. We've raced them a couple of times, they're like pretty awesome guys.
There's one from T Lassen 02. What is the most key thing you do to keep calm on the start line? Don't know if that's grammatically correct. But.
Do you do the same thing each race, or is it changes with different clubs?
A lot of visualization.
Oh, is that what Sean teaches?
A lot of good stuff like that, like really preparing yourself mentally. I think that can't be overlooked. I think that as a, is a really good process to go through to make sure that you're really calm on the start line. And then, just pretty normal things. I think before the boat race, actually in 2017, I was just reading a book on a beanbag with Will Wall. I think you just try and keep as calm as possible and know that, it's all within your control, and you control what you can. What about you? Start line of 2017 Henley.
Just
it
was
a
lot just literally like Kano screaming through the ears. That's pretty much it.
Right.
Yeah. Something else. Don't read many books. That's for sure. Do a few breathing exercises. Quite like to feel like I'm getting everything out of my lungs. And then you might take a few big breaths. I know it's not scientific, but it helps. Like, been taught some centering techniques where you kind of feel yourself sat in the seat, and helps you calm your thoughts and get ready for the race.
What about you?
Oh, it must be completely different for a Cox.
It's quite different. I think the thing that always makes me nervous is the unknown. So when we're about an hour before the race, I do like to just sort of, like you said, visualization helps me a lot.
Yeah.
Just thinking through all the possible eventualities of the race and okay, what am I going to do if we're a length down? And I'll just sort of deal with that in my head, and then if it does happen, it's not like it's a surprise. That's the thing that always helps me, is that if I've already thought through it, if it does happen, I've already got a little bit of a plan B in my mind of what I'm going to do if that happens. So things like when we were racing you guys before 2017, we found ourselves length down pretty quick, but if you've already thought through the process, it's not scary. You kind of just go to your plan B and just think, right, okay, we're going to do that.
That's good answer. Yeah.
Are you going to Duisburg? Are either of us going to? I'm not going to Duisburg. I have been ill for the last 3 weeks, and I've been told that I won't be going to Duisburg.
Hope you feel better soon, man.
Thank you.
Right.
Yeah.
Get better soon.
Cheers. Thanks. Thanks for all the comments below, wishing me well. So.
Yeah. He's back.
Yay. Yeah, Harry, what's going on? Brookes will be sending some boats.
Maybe.
Yeah. Alright, sick. Cheers. Do we row both on bow or stroke side, or hang on? Do you row only on bow or stroke side, or do you row on both? And how do you compensate for just one side? I only row stroke side. I've only ever rowed stroke side. If I was to row bow side, it would be horrendous. I'd get injured very quickly.
Well, I rode bow side. Shorty kind of rode with Charles.
Yeah. So I don't know. How do I compensate? Have you ever
Never done bow side.
Yeah, exactly.
I think it's good to do though from a young age.
Yeah, I started a bit later in my life. I started when I was 17, 18. So if I was to swap sides then,
I think I would have liked to do that really.
Really?
But then maybe you just don't become good at.
That's what I was going to say. I reckon it's good to know both sides, but I think it's quite hard to be really good at one side if you don't practice it and stick to it.
Yeah, agreed.
Hang on, I've got a question here. Tom Cresswell, quite a profound question here. What is it like in a race?
So, like last week, we played a little game where we chose an 8 last month or year, whenever it was. We chose an 8 full of rowers from the Six Nations team, or from the Six Nations, who we thought would be good in an 8. And this week, because me and Harry are both fans of Liverpool, and the title race is hotting up, we're choosing a combined 8 of the Liverpool and Man City players. Harry's just gone for Liverpool players in the Premier League era because I told him the wrong thing.
And City is shit
as well. So Harry will go first.
Right, okay. So we'll start from stroke, and I'm going to go with Andy Robertson.
Okay.
A lot of energy, doesn't stop going. I think if he'd be a really good person to have a stroke. He's just really feisty, works all the way up the pitch, all the way back. Really, really solid boat. So I think he'd be a pretty good guy to have in your stroke seat. 7, going for Luis Suarez.
Okay.
Right. My logic is that he's really like technically gifted, really skillful, good work rate as well. But you know, when your legs are blowing and your arms have gone, you know that Louis is going to get his teeth on it.
Matt Native, yeah.
Matt Native. 6 seat. I was a bit torn with the 6 seat, but I'm going to go with Xabi Alonso.
Yes, yeah, 100%.
Just because he's like solid holding midfield, really strong player. But like his key thing is just accuracy, like awesome passing. And I think, you know, if he was in the 6 seat, he could just back up Stone Power, like absolute team. So I think he'd be a really good person to have in the 6 seat. 5. Who was I going to have at 5? 5. I was going to have Sami Hyypiä.
Ooh, okay.
Because he's not like the kind of, you wouldn't really think of him as being like a big strong bloke, but he is actually quite tall, gets up pretty high in, you know, defensive situations. Which leads me on to number 4, Steven Gerrard. Don't really need to say much more.
I'd have had him a bit further down. I'd have him at 6 or straight.
Nah, mate, Xabi Alonso just too.
Yeah, Xabi. Yeah, alright, fine. Yeah.
Okay, 3 seat. Peter Crouch.
Okay, yeah, 100%.
Right, he's fucking rangy, and you know, bring him on at 70 minutes, and he'll probably score.
2 seat, Mo Salah.
Mhm.
Quite small. Just keep the bowels up moving. Technical wizard. And then bow seat is just going to cap it all off. Michael Owen, best forward in the Premier League. Awesome player.
For a good year or so. So I've gone for a combined Liverpool and Man City team. I've gone for Trent at stroke, Alexander-Arnold. I think he's got a bit of athleticism to him. You know, set a good rhythm, go all day, up and down the wing. 7, Mo Salah, bit silky. 6, I've gone for Kevin De Bruyne. I think he's just too silky not to have in the 8, and I think in a 6 seat is what you need. 5 seat, I've gone for Virgil van Dijk, just because he's an absolute unit. I think he'll lay down some serious watts.
Don't tell me 4.
Yeah.
You've gone for what's his name? The defender for City with the forehead.
Yeah, Vincent Kompany. yeah, that's exactly what I've gone for. Yeah, I got my Kompany at 4. I think Van Dijk and Kompany in the middle of the boat, mate. Yeah, that's winning every race. 3, I've gone a bit rogue. I think Benjamin Mendy, left back for City. He's just a bit of a rogue bloke. I'm no doubt he'll rush as well. And I just think he'd be quite, be good, quite talented. 2, I've gone for Bernardo Silva. I think he's, again, quite a silky bloke. Bousey, I've gone for the guy with the worst hairline I've ever seen in a Premier League footballer, and it's Sadio Mane. Quite quick. His hairline is like so far back, right, that it looks that if you were flying over him, it would look like he's looking up the whole time. That's how far back his hairline is. And then for Cox, I've gone for David Silva. So thank you very much everyone for tuning in to our second episode. Hope you enjoy it. Make sure you give the video a like and maybe leave a comment.
Yeah, comment what you want us to pick up on next time. Give us any giants to bring on and have a chat with.
Thank you very much to Vass for coming to join us. Thank you for taking us to this wonderful Vinny's. It's pretty beautiful. Cheers. Thank you.